So in my never-ending quest to find you good, affordable, USA-made, quality outdoor knives, I ran across this one. This is the Ontario Knife Company $4.99 U.S. Air Force Survival Knife. Alright, so I've been looking around at a lot of different knives lately, but what I'm looking for really is decent quality, affordable, American-made knives for somebody who, say, is new to bushcraft, survival, something to put in a bug-out bag. If you're totally new to this and you don't want to spend $300 and $400 or $200 on a knife, there are options out there. This is one of them, okay? Now, this is not, it says it's a survival knife, but it's not what you'd think of as a bushcrafting knife or an outdoor knife, although it will work for those purposes. Out of the box came pretty darn sharp, and it's actually very comfortable in your hand, even though this leather is kind of odd. I'll get to that in a minute and how I take care of all that. It looks it doesn't look like it'd be comfortable is what I'm trying to say, but it actually is pretty darn comfortable. So this knife is actually the current issue for the U.S. Air Force as a survival knife, as well as other branches of the military. It's got a 5-inch blade. It's got milled saw teeth along the back. And these, contradictory to what people sometimes think, are not for cutting through trees. See the teeth on the back? They are for cutting out of the aluminum aircraft body. Same with the knife in itself. If you get stuck in a downed aircraft, that's what this is for. It cuts your way out. However, it does work on everything else. It's got a really nice leather sheath. That impressed me more than everything else. This is actually really high quality. Now, this is made in China. The only reason I know that is because they had a sticker on here that said made in China on the back. It was just a paper sticker. But I gotta say, they got their act together on it. It's not a junky piece of vinyl or plastic or something. This is actually a good leather sheath. Inside here has a little sharpening stone. Not a very coarse grit, very fine grit, so you'll be able to maintain your knife pretty well with this. I would just go, find your angle and go along it like that, and you should have a good sharp blade. The blade itself came very sharp out of the box. It will shave the way it came out of the box. So let's get into the materials here. Like I said, the blade length is 5 inches. The blade thickness is 0.17 inches. Plenty of room there to strike a ferro rod. And by the way, these serrations of the sawtooth works very good on a ferro rod. The hardness is where some people have a problem with this knife. It's between 50 and 55 HRC. Some people think that's not hard enough for it to retain an edge. The little bit that I've played with it in here, and you can see some notches I've cut with it, it retained an edge just fine. Again, we're going to take it outside. We're going to actually test it and see how it comes out. The overall length is 9.5 inches. The edge is a plain, flat bevel with a swedge. It's got a zinc phosphate finish, so basically parkerizing. If you put oil on this, it will just absorb it. I soaked that in oil last night, and as you can tell, it's dry as a bone. That's what I like about the zinc phosphate finishes. They kind of stay nice looking, and even when they get beat up, they're not too bad. The handle is leather. What I did was, if you guys remember, a couple videos back, I did a video with my friend Charlie on making a leather treatment that has neat's foot oil and all sorts of stuff in it. And what I did was I soaked this in it, because this was very, very light when I got it. It still looks light probably on camera, but it would look white. It was raw leather. So I soaked that in here a little bit. And again, you can use mink oil, neat's foot oil, anything like that, any kind of leather protectant. And I soaked the handle in it. Now the reason for that is I want this protected from water and the elements. But also too, when you get this knife, you're going to notice this thing's loose. This little handle. You're going to notice that it's loose. When you soak it, the leather will kind of grow a little bit, and it won't be loose anymore. So, that's, it's by design. Every single one I looked at in the store had a loose handguard, so that's not, a screw up on their part. So that's about it for what I can tell you about it. It does have a national stock number, so it really is a military knife. It is 1095 carbon steel. So let's get this outside and do a little testing with it. and see how it holds up. Alright, we're out here. I'm going to try them out. As you can see, that is a nice attractive package there. By the way, I forgot to mention the price. It's around, I've seen them anywhere from $50 to $44. So this one's available in Walmart for around 43 something or 45 something. Not a bad price for a good American-made knife. First thing we're going to start with is what I was doing down here. We're going to do some notches. Let me knock that piece off there. Let's do one right here. Let me get a stick to... I'm going to go about 1/3 down there. Just carve in. Plenty sharp enough to do that. I don't think I went deep enough, but you get the idea. It does work. Again, it's not a bushcrafting knife, but it'll definitely do the job. I think it's more blade geometry here because the blade is not it's not a scandy grind, a thin grind. But you can see you get a nice notch there. You know, and you can clean it up, go back down in there. So you got a nice little notch. I have found that using the saw, like I did here, will give you a nice notch too. Let's mess around with that. I was actually kind of surprised because the saw actually works. Okay. That's a nice, I hope that's in camera so you can see it. Nice looking notch there. Alright, let's try the next chore that everybody seems to do with a knife, and that's batoning. Let's baton a piece of wood here. This is that's kind of too small. Alright, that looks pretty good. Not a huge piece, but good enough. It definitely cuts through it. There's no problem getting through that at all. Oh. Nice and easy. Definitely works really well. Let's say I want to carve a little a stake out of the end of this blade here. Put my notches in. Do a little carving, and it's just tearing up the wood really well. Now I will say there is a little hot spot here because I'm doing this. Because I'm used to being able to put my thumb here. You can probably rest your thumb back here and cut, but you don't have the control. So it is a little bit of a hot spot up here if you're carving. Nothing unbearable. But again, you know, you got to compromise here a little bit. This really isn't an outdoor woodcraft knife, but it definitely does the job, you know. Not dull by any means. Let's see if we can get some feather sticks with it. This is kind of old nasty wood, so I don't know how well it's going to work. And the blade geometry of this is not exactly helping any. You know, it seems to be a very wide edge. It's not a very thin edge, so you can't get down and get a bunch of little tiny. But it definitely cuts you small enough pieces of wood to start a fire with. Oop, cut it in half. So, let's take some fat wood here. Cut off a couple of pieces and see how well it works with a... It's actually feather sticking the fat wood better than it is the other stuff. Also, too, you know, I bet you, like this, I get some... Oh, look at that. Nice fat wood shavings. And it's windy out here, so I got to do this quick before the wind kicks up. Put that there to protect it. All right. Definitely throws some mean sparks. Whoop! Get back there. I think it blew all my fat wood away. I only see one little piece of it left there. There we go. All right. Go in there. There you go. Got yourself a little fat wood fire. So all in all, it's performed pretty well. I would say the only thing it really has a problem with is the feather sticks, because it's just a thick knife, you know? It doesn't have that thin profile on the end of the blade. So you get down in there, and pretty much what you're getting is a nice thin edge, and then it goes big and wide, and it pulls the piece right off. But for an outdoor knife, for a camp, you know, for cutting some steaks up, you know, for your tent or whatever, can't really beat it. My only suggestion would be to smooth out this edge a little bit, because again, you're looking for control here, and when you're trying to get up on this and get control of it, you're getting that hot spot right in here. But other than that, darn good knife, and the price is definitely right. So let's go back inside and I'll give you my final thoughts on it. All right, we're back inside now. What I did out there, of course, was by no means an extensive test of this knife. I am going to try and use it more in videos in here and see how it works out. I'm actually pretty pleased with it. The only thing that bothered me a little bit was the hand guards there. You know, they're kind of, for its purpose, you know, for cutting through the hull of an aircraft or getting your way out of a situation, or even a fighting knife. These are very handy and very, you know, they serve a purpose, you know, your hand guard. But when you're trying to cut up on a knife, when you're trying to get up on a knife, get up a little bit on there and kind of get your fingers on the saw and get a little more control, that's going to bother the heck out of you. I don't know if you can see it up close there, but it's not molded perfectly and it's a little bit of a rough edge. So probably what I'll do is smooth that out and just drop a little cold blue on it and call it good. So for 44 bucks, you get a nice knife. Although not made to be an outdoor knife, it can definitely do the job. Now, again, I didn't really beat the living heck out of the knife out there, obviously, but definitely kept an edge. It's nice and sharp still. You know, there's no, I haven't touched it up with anything since I got it out of the box. So, no problems with that. It's still nice and sharp. I can feel it, you know, it passes the thumb test, the nail test, where you put it on there, and if it doesn't move, it's sharp. It held its edge pretty well. Definitely if you were doing a lot more than what I was doing out there, you know, you'd probably have to touch it up. But that's where something like the little work sharpener comes in handy. And I do have these in my Amazon store. They're definitely worth picking up. So anyway, that is the Ontario Knife Company $4.99 U.S. Air Force survival knife. Definitely an option for you guys out there who are budget minded and need a knife for your bug out bag. It's kind of a dual purpose. You can use it as a camp knife. You can do some basic bushcrafting tasks with it, although it's not a bushcrafting knife. But it's also possible self-defense weapon too. So anyway, that's the video for today. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.